before the food, before the water. You drink it hot on an empty stomach, and you have done that every morning for years. Here's what nobody tells you about the bag. When labs pull apart cheap, pre-ground coffee, they do not always find only coffee. They find corn, soybeans, coffee husks, twigs and sticks swept up with the harvest and ground in with the rest. And that line on the front, 100% Arabica? Almost nobody here tests it. When a British lab did, 6 of 60 bags came back carrying cheap Robusta nobody declared. By the end, you will read a coffee bag the way a roaster does. 7 kinds to walk past, 3 that are a safer pour. And the 12-year court fight over your morning cup that ended with nobody testing anything, I saved for last.
2 things first, because this topic pulls nonsense from both directions. 1. Coffee is fine. The World Health Organization's cancer agency cleared it after more than 1,000 studies. Nobody is telling you to quit. Same with the mold panic online, where a business sells mold-free coffee at triple the price. Toxicologists ran that math. You would need roughly 400,000 servings to reach the levels that worry them. Fear at a markup. Your coffee is not poison. The problem is quality, freshness, and who is checking, which is almost nobody. 2. Learn 3 things and the aisle sorts itself. Is there a roast date? No date means old, and a best buy is not a roast date. Whole bean or ground? Powder hides what is in it. One origin or a blend from nowhere? The front of the bag sells you a mountain and a farmer. The roast date tells you the truth. Number 7. Everything printed on the front of the bag. 100% Arabica. Arabica is the good bean, Robusta the cheap, harsh one. Problem is, that line is a claim, not a test result. The FDA does not approve coffee labels, and nobody here runs a routine check. Researchers at the Quadram Institute in Norwich, England built one anyway. A chemical fingerprint called 16-O-methylcaphistol that gives Robusta away down to 1% of the bag. Then they went shopping. 60 products, all labeled 100% Arabica. 6 came back carrying Robusta nobody declared. 1 was roughly 1/3 the wrong bean. Bottom line, the front of a coffee bag is a claim with nobody behind it. Here, the label runs on the honor system.
Number 6. The bag with no roast date. Now, here is everything federal law requires on a bag of coffee. The weight, what it is, who made it. A roast date is not on it, so companies print a best buy date instead, and they pick it themselves. 12 months out, 18, 2 years. Meanwhile, the coffee starts flattening within weeks, and the window anyone in specialty gives you is 2 to 6 weeks. That bag could have been roasted last spring, shipped and warehoused, and the date still looks fine. Bottom line, a best buy date is the company's opinion about the future. A roast date is a fact about the past. Only one is required, and it is the wrong one. Number 5. The cheapest pre-ground on the shelf. Whole beans you can look at, grind them to powder, and everything you could have seen is gone. That is the opening. A chemist named Susanna Nixdorf at the State University in Londrina, Brazil, built a test for it. Chromatography reads the sugar signature every plant leaves behind, because corn keeps its own fingerprint, even roasted black. What turned up? Corn, barley, soybeans, rice, acai seed, plus what is not even a crop, husks, twigs, sticks. Be fair, that was Brazil, and the Chemistry Society said you cannot extrapolate it here. But Brazil grows more coffee than anyone alive, and in 2024, its agriculture ministry sampled 168 products and pulled 16 roasted brands for husks, twigs, and plant material that was not coffee. Bottom line? Whole beans you inspect, ground coffee you trust. The cheapest bag is asking for a lot of trust.
Number 4. Instant coffee. Instant is where the bottom of the crop goes to disappear. It runs on cheap commodity Robusta, the harsh stuff nobody would sell you as beans, because once it is freeze-dried, you cannot tell. Roasting creates acrylamide, the compound heat makes when it browns food. A Polish study measured 42 samples. Ground roasted coffee averaged 179 micrograms per kilogram. Instant averaged 358, roughly double. The World Health Organization's Cancer Agency calls acrylamide itself probably carcinogenic to humans. That is the chemical, not the drink. Europe, at least, set reference levels. The United States set no number at all. Bottom line, instant is not regular coffee in a faster format. It is a lower grade of bean carrying twice the acrylamide, and nobody here is measuring it. Number 3. The 10% rule. The FDA keeps a compliance guide for green coffee beans coming into the country. A lot counts as adulterated when 10% or more of the beans, by count, are insect-infested or damaged, or when 10% or more are moldy. Read it backwards. 9% is not a violation. The agency's own reasoning notes that mold on those beans may carry mycotoxin-producing fungi, which is why a standing import alert exists for ochratoxin A. Now the honest half. Roasting destroys a lot of ochratoxin A, and levels found in retail coffee sit low, which is exactly why mold-free coffee at triple the price is a worse deal than it looks. Bottom line. The line is not 0, it is 10%, and nothing on the bag tells you where yours landed. Number 2. Decaf, and the solvent nobody prints on the front. Most commercial decaf is not made with water. It is made with a chemical solvent, usually methylene chloride, the active ingredient in paint stripper until the EPA banned it for consumers. Federal regulation allows it, capped at 10 parts per million in roasted decaf, and industry says nearly all of it cooks off. Then, in January, a class action landed in federal court in Washington state. The plaintiffs commissioned lab testing on a decaf house blend and allege it turned up methylene chloride along with benzene and toluene. Careful there. Those are allegations in an open case, and no agency has confirmed them. Bottom line, there is a water-only way to make decaf, and the bags that use it say so loudly. If the bag says nothing, it was a solvent. Number 1. The 12 years America argued about your coffee without ever looking inside it. Here is the one I promised. In 2010, a nonprofit sued around 90 coffee companies in Los Angeles, Starbucks and Costco among them, under Proposition 65, California's cancer warning law. The chemical was acrylamide. March of 2018, Judge Elihu Burrell ruled the sellers had not proved that acrylamide in coffee posed no significant risk. That went around the world in a day. California says coffee needs a cancer warning. Then it reversed. California's own health hazard office wrote a new rule, Section 25,704, saying chemicals created by roasting and brewing coffee pose no significant cancer risk, effective October 1st, 2019. By then, the World Health Organization had moved coffee out of the possibly carcinogenic category. The case died in 2020, the appeal in 2022. That was the right call. So here is the reveal. 12 years, 90 companies, 2 courts and a state agency, and nobody was arguing about testing what is in your bag. There is nothing to test against. Europe caps ochratoxin A at 3 micrograms per kilogram in roasted coffee, 5 in instant. America has no number, none for acrylamide either, no required roast date. Bottom line, the fight was about whether to print a warning. Nobody fought about whether anyone should look in the bag. That answer is still nobody. 7 traps on the coffee aisle. 3 moves that put you back in charge. Safer move 1. Buy whole beans with an actual roast date on them, not a best buy. The day it was roasted, then grind at home. Powder hides everything, beans hide nothing. And a roaster who prints that date is moving product fast enough to print it. Safer move 2. Buy single origin. 1 country, better yet 1 region or 1 farm. A supermarket blend is 4 countries in a warehouse, with no thread to pull when something goes wrong. Single origin means somebody can name the source, and a name can be checked. Safer move 3. Buy from a specialty roaster that publishes. Origin, farm, harvest year, and the best of them publish lab results. Not a promise of perfect, nobody can promise that. But a roaster publishing numbers beats a can with a mountain painted on it. For decaf, look for Swiss water or CO2.
Store it airtight and opaque at room temperature, not the fridge. Buy what you will drink in a month. Roast date, whole bean, 1 origin. If a bag cannot give you all 3, that is not an oversight. That is an answer. Got somebody at home who grabs the biggest tub of pre-ground and calls it a bargain? Send them this one. New investigation every week. Hit subscribe.